But why did you move to New York City? What made you make that decision?
I think as a kid watching these movies from New York, I feel like we all had that, desire and passion.
What was the movie that did it for you?
I think people want to see the whole process. People want to see the struggles you went through. People want to see how you felt on a daily basis during the process, during the steps you took to get there. So I think it's very important for me. I want to be more consistent. I want to get more content out there as much as I can. I want to build a community of people, like-minded people who resonate with me, who are on the same journey. And I am very excited for this.
So being able to have like a good eye and good emotional intellect on what really matters seems important. So what do you look for in a quality relationship with anyone? Welcome to the channel, you guys. I have a very exciting special guest, a sweetheart, someone who I met in the gym and is creating some content of her own and that I've watched, who has a very powerful message and I'm sure a very interesting story. So we'll kind of get to, I guess, know a little bit more about you and kind of what you're doing today. And, this channel is just about mindset, like taking care of yourself, how to overcome challenges, and be present, live in the moment so that you can just be the best version of yourself, and just have, doors open up for relationships that are life-changing and experiences too. So
yeah,
welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's so interesting because when I met you, it was actually the beginning of me trying to create this kind of content.
Really?
I remember telling you.
Yeah.
And I remember you asking for the video and I was like, it's not ready yet. It's in the process. It's in the process of making. I'll definitely send you the link. And then I did.
I loved the video.
Thank you.
Seriously, the content was so rich.
Thank you so much. I feel like my whole life, I've been trying to be perfect in all the aspects. And I feel like I was so ready, like long time ago, to put out there this type of content. But I always was like waiting for the right moment, which we all know never arrives.
Yeah.
It never does.
No.
And I feel like one day I was just like, I need to start doing it. And I guess here I am.
And then you did it. That's sweet. So before you started posting the content, how long would you say you were on this like journey of just taking care of yourself and living balanced?
I think it happened not recently, but I would say probably 2-3 years ago, but it was always on and off. I feel like I'll be consistent for a little bit, and then if I leave it on the side, I just fall back into my usual patterns and then forget about it. And then I'll feel again that I am not in the right headspace. I'm not feeling good mentally. And I'll ask myself why, and then I'll find the answer. That's exactly why, because you started this journey and then you just left it on the side. So I feel like it's been on and off for, I would say, 2-3 years, but more consistently, I'd say probably the last year when I started to actually learn more about myself. Why do I feel this type of way? What's causing this type of feelings? And try to actually sit with myself, ask myself questions, forget what society told me, forget what. Yeah, so I feel like it's a lot of work, obviously, but I'm getting there.
So when you first started 3 years ago, kind of paying attention to this kind of stuff, what sparked that and what did those early kind of stages look like for you?
I think what sparked that for me specifically was I was feeling some sort of way. I wasn't feeling well mentally. And
Did you live in New York City?
I lived in New York City.
Okay.
I live here for 8 years now.
Okay, 8 years. And where are you from?
I'm from Moldova, from Eastern Europe.
Oh, okay. Nice. Do you have family here?
No, I don't.
You're the only one?
Yes.
For all 8 years?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay, so that's a pretty big move. That's getting outside of your comfort zone.
Definitely, especially at the beginning. I didn't speak the language. I didn't have anyone here, so that was a big step for me.
Yeah.
But
I want to take just one step back because I think it's interesting. I want you to answer the what sparked it. But when you like, maybe this has something to do with it. But why did you move to New York City? What made you make that decision?
I think as a kid watching these movies from New York, I feel like we all had that, desire and passion.
What was the movie that did it for you?
That's a good question. I think it was a couple of them, but I feel like I was watching even the Home Alone movie. I don't know. It was so magical for me. The one in New York.
I just watched that movie for the first time a couple of months ago with Ahmed from Egypt. He
No
introduced it to me.
way.
Yeah, I've seen the first one with
Okay.
yeah.
That's interesting.
But, so the movies got you kind of.
Did you like it?
It was a good movie.
It was a good movie.
Yeah.
I think that's a comforting movie for me. Whenever I feel like I want a hug, that's what I'm watching. Like, it
Interesting.
makes me feel good for some reason. Yeah.
So you came to New York 8 years ago. Did you have support with that decision, or what was kind of like the people around you, your relationships? How did they react to that?
So my parents, my dad was against it. My mom was supportive, but kind of sad at the same time because she wanted me close to her, but at the same time she understood that that's a good future for me. So she was supportive in that way. My brother was like, please move.
Yeah.
He knew. I mean, he knows, like, but that was a good future for me. So he was 100% like for me moving here.
Older brother, younger brother?
Older.
Older. That's nice having that support. That's
I know.
so sweet.
Yeah, he's a very good brother, I would say. I feel like we're not talking as much right now, like anymore, just because of the time difference. He has a family already, but I feel like he was a huge support in my life. He still is. I mean, whenever I need support, I always talk to him. So
That's
that's
sweet.
nice. Yeah,
So you came to New York. There was a language barrier.
it was a language.
I'm sure you were
barrier.
excited.
Yes.
What did that kind of look like coming into New York? What did those first couple of years look like?
For me, it was just getting to learn the language, getting to know how the system works, like those small steps to learn how to get it rolling, I would say.
Yeah.
It was a lot of learning. It was a difficult process at the beginning, I would say, but looking back at it, I feel like it was like something very exciting because I was challenging myself all the time. Like, what can you do, And then I just started to get to know people, making more friends, and I feel like it was an exciting process for me.
That's great.
It was really nice.
Have
Yeah.
you do you feel like, because you seem like a very sweet, like people's person, extrovert, like you can get along with anyone. Has it always been like that?
Honestly, I learned not to really put labels on myself, but I do want to say that I'm more introverted, to be honest. I feel like I open up whenever I'm comfortable with someone. I think that's when I feel 100%. So that's why I don't like putting labels, because that means I'm not introverted. I just need to be around the right people.
Interesting.
Yes.
Okay. Very interesting. Yeah, I kind of identify with that. I meet people today and I tell them that I'm naturally an introvert and that I was always super shy growing up as a kid. I was chubby. I was like a marshmallow growing
Oh,
up.
I need to see some pictures.
Yeah, I mean, you can't. I'm like, I don't even fit in the pictures. That's how chubby I was.
It's half of Sergio.
It was not. It was like a quarter of Sergio, not even half of Sergio.
That's funny.
But and people look at me and it's actually, it hits me. It really hits me because they're like, no way.
That's
no
not
way.
you.
Yeah. And it's interesting seeing that reaction because it tells me how far I've came, and I like what you just said about finding the right people and maybe even just being surrounded by the right people who can kind of push you a little bit, get you outside of your comfort zone. be supportive, and just know when to push you and to like and support you through that. So then, you get comfortable in that, and being surrounded by the right people, you just find yourself doing things, going places that you've never done or wouldn't imagine doing. I think one of your videos, you said that, a couple years ago, you wouldn't imagine some of the brand deals that you have and just what your life looks like today. So it's interesting how that kind of happens over time, and you kind of find that extrovert, whatever you want to call it, that person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's definitely everything. It's mental. Everything, like just forgetting about all the limits you have in your head and knowing your full potential. It's what actually gets you there. Because I feel like a lot of us, our self-perception about ourselves, it's so limited because the way we grew up, because the surroundings we had, because of like what people told us. So you kind of like build all of those barriers, and you think that that's your identity, which is actually not. Like
Yeah.
your full potential, it's totally different. So I feel like I am so passionate about like building a new identity, like actually discovering who you truly are. Some people might say that you're faking it. You know how they say fake it till you make it? I look at it a little bit differently. I look at it like,
Wait, what does that even mean?
uh,
I mean, I know what it meant a couple of years ago, but it has a different I have a different feeling towards that now.
I would say for me it's more, and I'm gonna go a little bit off topic here. Well, not exactly off topic because it's related.
Yeah.
I recently discovered this interesting thing. I don't know how familiar you are about the alter ego effect.
I mean, I've heard of it, but you describe it for us, for the audience. Not, I know obviously what it is, but the audience doesn't know. I don't know what
So
it is.
it's basically trying to build a new identity, a new persona, that it's kind of like who you want to be in life. And it's like the bridge. Basically, you have a bridge in between who you are at the moment and who you want to be. So you kind of build that alter ego, and you kind of can step into it to, I'd say, to be at your full potential, if that makes sense. I feel like a lot
The
of
alter ego, if you step into that, you're saying that's like perceived full potential, or that is full potential by stepping into the alter ego.
I think for me that's just creating a new identity, like who you would want to be, like how would your ideal self act, speak, look, all the aspects of your life, kind of build that, and stepping into it whenever you feel like you need to use it. And eventually the more you use it, the more it becomes natural to you, and at one point you can become that person. Because
Whoa, that's pretty interesting.
Because a lot
You gotta
of
teach me how to do this.
and not a lot of athletes are actually doing that. Maybe they are not talking a lot about it. There is an interesting book, and I'm pretty sure, because it's very popular, I'm pretty sure a lot maybe of people read it already. It's called The Alter Ego Effect. I actually haven't finished it. I am like in the middle of reading it, but it's so interesting. Like they're telling the stories of so many people who used this technique to actually unlock their full potential. Because I feel like us growing up as kids, like again, the society, the people, your parents, all of those things are kind of like shaping the person, the identity you are.
Yeah.
But that's not exactly you. Like that's not entirely you. And I feel like what's important is actually like sitting down with yourself, asking yourself questions, kind of like discovering who you want to be. What do you like? What's making you happy? And because you have the power to build whoever you want to be. Like you truly have the power. There is nothing stopping you.
Well, for someone who doesn't feel like they have that power, what would you say to them?
I think it's a lot of work. I think it's a lot of like sitting down with yourself and actually, again, asking yourself questions, because a lot of us are feeling not the best way possible in some aspects of our life. And you gotta ask yourself questions. Why do you feel that way? What has to change in your life? Because again, there is a better way to live the life. Like, it's so interesting. Sorry, I'm like jumping from one topic to another.
You can jump wherever you want. You're the stage. Spotlight's on you.
It's so interesting because I grew up, and again, as I mentioned in my videos, I am not blaming anyone around me. Everyone did the best they could with what they had. But I feel like I grew up with my parents, and it was a mentality that like we have to, not like we have to, but life is just difficult. We have to suffer, like the job, like you have to work to get this kind of like things taken care of, which is, it's not exactly the way you are supposed to live life. And I feel like I discovered this later in life, that there is a different way to live life. You don't have to suffer all the time. There is a beautiful side of this life. So how do you unlock that? How do you get to live that life? Like it's there. You just have to access it.
How do you access it?
Again, a lot of work on yourself.
If you had to like break down into like a few simple steps, action steps that people can just start doing right now, like what are a few just first steps people can take to unlocking that?
Find all the distractions. Avoid all the distractions. Either it's people around you, either it's activities, your job, whatever it is, that it's kind of like pushing you away from like sitting there and connecting with your inner self. Maybe putting your blinds, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe you think better whenever it's dark in the room. I don't know, whatever works for you. Finding all the distraction, avoiding them, and actually sitting down with yourself. Taking a piece of paper and a pen, because
that's still a thing.
That's still a thing.
Oh shit! Okay.
I mean, for me, works. Again, find whatever works for you.
I like that, paper and pen.
I'm old school,
Yeah, I like it. It feels more real.
Yeah, what's on paper? It's a document. It's signed. You can't run away from it.
Yeah,
it's there.
So paper and pen.
You take a paper, you take a pen, and you start writing. You start again asking yourself questions. If you feel some certain way, if you feel unhappy, start asking yourself questions. What exactly brings you there, and what can you change? What your ideal life will look like what's gonna make you the happiest, and probably just writing all of those things down on paper so you have something to look at every single day. And I think just sticking to it, just sticking and being consistent with all the steps, because again, it's hard work. It doesn't happen overnight. It's a process. It takes, and honestly, you can never avoid it completely. It's just learning how to manage it better. Trying to make it a habit, I would say.
That's a hard thing to do.
That's a hard thing to do.
It's even harder to break habits. Personally speaking, I've broken a lot of habits, and I'm trying to build better ones. What's like the hardest habit that you broke, and how did you navigate that?
For me was binge eating.
Really?
Yeah.
What does binge eating look like? Is that just like not eating the whole day and then going crazy, or like what is?
Some sort of. It will be different all the time, but I would say being really on a strict diet and then just eating all the things. Yeah.
What was like your go-to?
I'd say sweets for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ice cream, cookies,
Ice
candy.
cream. I love ice cream. I still love ice cream.
What kind of ice cream were you eating?
Caramel. I love caramel
Okay.
ice cream. Yeah.
Have you ever tried Halo Top?
I did.
I like it because it's low calories. It's got some
it's
protein.
a
I feel less
healthier
like a fatty when I'm
definitely.
eating it.
And I recently discovered a cottage cheese ice cream, which it's a little bit difficult to find, but it's so tasty, and it's also a healthier version, like high in protein.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's really good. It
Okay.
tastes really good. But yeah, I think for me, it was binge eating. And the reason I probably will fall into that, it was because that was my comfort zone. Whenever something will happen in my life but I truly wasn't comfortable with, or I'll get my feelings hurt, or whatever situation but will hurt me in some sort of way, I think I was finding comfort in food. And probably that was the most difficult habit to break for me.
Have you always leaned to food for comfort?
I think it started at a pretty young age. I think I probably 14, 15, I would say, when I was living, I'm sorry, when I was living alone because my parents were working abroad. My brother left for school, and I think that's probably when it started because I was like feeling alone. I was trying to find comfort in something. So that's where I probably found it.
How did that, I mean, how was that? Your brother, sounds like you guys were very close. I know right now with distance and time, it's you guys are still close, but it's a little bit harder to keep communication and whatnot. But how was that? You know, what did that look like? How did that feel when he kind of left and you guys weren't together?
It was difficult just because again my parents were abroad for work and I saw in him like a dad figure. He was the support for me, and I think when he left I was left alone, and I was still a kid, so it was a little bit like difficult for me to process.
How old were you?
I was 15 probably, or I don't exactly remember, but I think it was around that age. Yeah.
That's like freshman, sophomore, high school, right?
I don't know how you call it in English. I'm sorry.
After
We have like 12 grades there.
Yeah, it was like 10th, 9th, 10th grade.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. That's a young age.
I mean, it's not as young, but I still feel like I wasn't like fully developed as a person. Well, we are never fully developed, but still, I was at a young age when I needed some support from my family, I think. So
That must have been hard.
it was, but I feel like it, at the same time, just built the person I am today. I learned how to navigate things on my own. So I think like there is two sides to the story. You just gotta choose to see the good one.
Yeah, I find that those kinds of moments where you're kind of, you got to kind of figure things out and find your own people and community. Those are, as an introvert, those are some of the hardest times in my life. And even today, when I am I find myself less connected, whether it's a day or a couple of days, it's hard to step outside of that because I'm so comfortable in isolation. It's where I would just feel safe and not judged, and I can do whatever I want, say whatever I want, think whatever I want, and not have to worry about who's looking or what they're thinking. So it's those times are challenging, but I agree it does build some grit. It forces you to find some tools to help navigate that.
Yeah.
What do you think is the importance of, how do you feel about connection and community and just finding the right people? What's the importance of that, and what does that look like in your own life?
For me, it was a little bit of a challenging process because I'll find my way, like I'll find myself not being interested in people around me, like kind of like I'd go to some events or some gatherings and I'll come home and I'll be fully like drained, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I think I kind of started, like you mentioned right now, being more isolated, and I was trying to understand why do I feel that way. And I realized that I Probably I am at a different level in life, and I just need to find the right people who match the same level as I am, so I can feel in a different way with who I can connect on a more meaningful level. I think I was just in the rooms that probably were not as interesting anymore for myself. So I think that's what was causing me, but I definitely do believe that the community is very important. I just feel like you have to find the right people with who you feel comfortable and who share the same, I'd say, the same meaning in life, like are on the same level as you are, mentally mostly.
Yeah, and I hear that so often, like same level. Excuse me. And I always looked at that superficially, like whether it's the position of their career, whatever they're doing, financials, or just like being cool, hanging out with the cool people, which it may mean that for them, but the same level for me means, like you just said, like connecting on a deeper level and just kind of metaphorically being naked in front of each other, and not being afraid to just be yourself. And I like when people do that. It feels real.
I think it's so important because I feel like nowadays it's not anymore about the material things, because the society made it so easy to get to a certain level in terms of material things, in terms of gaining like some status in the society. So I feel like if you really have the desire, it's truly just right there for you to grab it, as long as you put the work into. But I feel like on the mental level, like spiritually, I feel like we're lacking a little bit. And I think finding those connections, it's so rare nowadays, which some people are still blind and they probably don't see it, which as long as it works for them, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
But I think for me, what's important nowadays, it's actually finding these meaningful connections. I realized that I was trying to run to catch so many things. I had the fear of missing out. I tried to be at every event, to meet every person, but I was so empty inside at the same time. And again, that's when the process started for me, trying to learn about myself and why do I feel that way. And I think that's when I realized that I don't need a lot of people in my life. I just need a couple of meaningful connections. And again, I'll be kind to every single person I meet because that's who I am, because I don't want to hurt anyone. But it's just finding the people who have the same interests as you are and connecting with those people. That's what matters for me.
I love that. That's really where I find the most joy in my life. It's interesting. I never thought of like how much access there is to material goods today. Never processed that, but I guess it does have some impact on creating this facade of who we are. And it's just interesting. It's so accessible. And so being able to have like a good eye and good emotional intellect on what really matters seems important. So what do you look for in a quality relationship with anyone? Intimate or just personal work? What do you look for?
That's such a good question.
By the way, I'm not using any of the questions I took from ChatGPT. This is all from here. I'm doing a pretty good job.
You're doing an amazing job.
Right?
I think we're doing such a great job here. See, that's something.
It is
that
something.
says something. It is something that says something, because it just flows naturally, which it's a pretty good sign, I would say.
I have to. You got to pay attention, right? I mean, you got to like actually be paying attention to who you're speaking with, and I believe the only way you can do that is to detach, as you say, from the results, and just let things be. Let the person be who they are, and let yourself be whoever you are. And things are pretty easy that way.
I Go ahead.
No, but I didn't want to take away from the question.
I wanted to
Okay.
really quick
say
something here.
Say something. By the way, you must have had like 2 gallons of water because you're not drinking any of your water.
Okay.
Not that you have to. Not that. That's just being silly.
Water is good.
I force my guests to drink water on this podcast. So if you come on, just know you got to drink water.
You know, when I drink a lot of water at the gym, that's when I drink a lot of water.
I don't do that.
See, I can't if I'm not drinking water, I can't work out. Like
you have a good workout with a lot of water, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I don't have a good workout. And it's because I don't drink enough water. But you had something on your mind, and then I'm curious to hear about the question before.
I actually forgot.
Damn, are you serious?
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta shut up more.
I'll remember. I promise I'll remember.
Okay, should I ask the question again from before?
Yeah, go ahead.
If I can remember. I have horrible memory.
See.
Yeah. So what do you look for
in a relationship?
With people, whether it's intimate, friend, or work?
I pay a lot of attention to energy. I think that's something I noticed in you when we first met.
The cold plunge helped with that. Really put me in a...
We met in a hot tub.
Yeah, we did. And that, that for some reason that day, that hot tub was really hot.
It was boiling. But what do I look in a relationship? What do I look for? I think for me, what's very important, what's crucial, it's energy. Because energy speaks volume. Again, it's even if your body can't speak with words, it speaks with feelings. So I think every single time when I meet a person, I'm trying to listen to my body, and it tells you a lot.
That's pretty big.
It is. I think I just get this feeling of comfort. And listen, sometimes it might lie to you. You never know. But pretty often I would say it was like pretty accurate. I would say.
I like that. That's honest.
Yeah.
That's completely honest. So listening to your body, when did you start doing that?
It was also in my discovery process, in my self-development process of like trying to learn about myself, trying to listen to my body and my feelings more, like kind of like dive deep into like who I am actually, and again, listen more to my body and the way I feel. I think that's when it started. So yes, it's about energy for me a lot. It's about having meaningful conversations. I like to connect with people. I love having a good conversation. For me, that's such a big point. I have this great friend. I don't want to say any names, but like she's a great person, like in all aspects. And sometimes I'll be so open. I'll talk about a lot of things, and she'll just respond, "Oh, that's cool." And I'm like, that is so dry. Like I literally showed you my whole soul. Yeah. And all you can give me back is, "Oh, that's cool." And I think that's very important for me, like connecting, like having a meaningful conversation, like getting to know the person, like how do they feel? What's their story? Like what is making them happy? What is making them sad? What are they struggling with at the moment? I think connecting on that deeper level, it's what's important for me. Another thing that I look for into a person is probably seeing that they're passionate about something. I am so attracted to passionate people. I think, and either if it's...
Same.
you just see the
It's
sparkle in their eyes, and you see what they have a purpose.
and you want to support them in whatever
You
way you
want to
can.
support them, yes. You want to be there for them, and you want to like help them in whichever way you can. I think that's beautiful. I think people who found who they want to be in life, that's a beautiful thing to have.
I love that because I have my own goals, just as many people have their own goals. And if you haven't taken time to like write something down and really create at least a year from now what you want your life to look like, I encourage it. Baby steps, make it simple.
Oh, so he's writing down. He's
I
actually using a paper and a
so
pen.
I use a
Or not?
iPad
Okay.
with a stylus. It's
Never
not
mind.
exactly this. It's kind of, but I
Never
got
mind.
I got this screen cover that has like a paper material, so like you can hear the little. It feels like it's paper.
As long as it feels like.
It's not the same, but I agree. Like, so growing up, I just, man, okay, let me skip over that. So I found that the past year, my sexual attraction towards anyone has been really drawn to their energy. And it's funny, that only happened as a result of me taking care of myself and paying attention to my body as well. And my heart, and actually paying less attention to my mind. I am very analytical, and I love numbers and all that stuff. So the brain is good for that stuff, but like leave that out of how you feel and physically and like emotionally. But yeah, like I'm just, it just kind of, as a result of taking care of myself, like I am attracted to people who are passionate as well. It's interesting. It's so nice hearing that from someone else.
It's so interesting because these are the sides of yourself that maybe you weren't aware before. And when you start learning about yourself, when you start discovering what you like, what's your purpose, like all of those small things, you start noticing them in other people as well. It's like it's always been there. It's always been in your mind. Like you know, like the red car theory.
Yes. You want to explain that for them?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm gonna explain it the best way possible, but it's basically it's like the red car theory. It's basically thinking about a thing, and it's always been there. You just never paid attention because you didn't think about it. And now suddenly you just start thinking about the red car. You walk on the street and you start seeing all of those red cars. So basically it's, you always had that information stored in your brain because at some point in life you came across, you just never needed it. So now basically when you start learning about yourself, about your passion, you're like, oh, okay. And then you start noticing it in other people as well. You're like, okay, I see how like this person's eyes like are like sparkle.
That's so interesting because I always heard that like you can really, I'm going to butcher this, but like you can really learn a lot about someone just through their eyes. And I really understand that now. At least I think I do. I mean, I'm sure we're going to keep learning. I mean, we're young. We're always going to keep learning. But the eyes speak a lot. Say everything about someone. And also some awareness around, like, I have shitty days, to be honest. Like, I'll have days where I'm just out of it completely. Don't look at me. Don't talk to me. Heads down. Like, I'm going to the corner. I'm in and out fast. I have those days. So, you know, I give people grace who are, you know, maybe it doesn't land that first conversation, you know, because they just might not be there. But it speaks volumes, the eyes, of where they're at in that moment.
It definitely does. I feel like they're just so deep. It's something like, it has so much depth, I would say. I don't know. It's something beautiful for me. And I actually, maybe it's so important for me because I got so many compliments for my eyes specifically, but it probably stuck with me, so I started paying attention, like people's eyes. I don't know. It's something important for me. I
like that. So you pay attention to people's energy, and you can often see that in their body language and their eyes. And having more of those kinds of relationships in your life is what you feel like you want to be putting more of your own energy into. Um, so I think earlier we talked about, what sparked that initial kind of journey. If you haven't touched on it already, like what was that moment where, you kind of naturally being an introvert, you you began to come out of that kind of isolation and disconnection from people and really started doing more of that? What was that moment? What did it look like?
I think realizing that at any moment in life, you can choose to be someone else. I think I learned that you have to detach yourself from who you've been told you are in order to live your life to the fullest. I think coming across that, like learning about it, was kind of like the major point that shifted the way I think about life for me specifically. And I am so passionate about this. I feel like every single person, whenever they're ready, honestly, a lot of us need to come to the point where they're so fed up with who they are and the way they feel that they're just, I need to change something about it.
Yeah.
Like, this can't go on
Sick
anymore.
and tired of being sick and tired.
Yes, exactly.
So did someone, like a stranger, whisper in your ears, like, start working on yourself, like in the subway
No,
station, or like
it
what
was-
what did that look like?
It was a lot of reading. It was a lot of watching other mentors. It was a learning process for me. And again, another thing I do want to mention here, and I think I mentioned in one of my videos, yes, it's very important to get to the science. Yes, it's very important to do a lot of learning. But what's the most important? It's actually getting the steps, like starting doing the steps to get there. Because I think for the reason why I was on and off in this, like, becoming better, like becoming, I don't know, getting to a better place in life, the reason why I was always on and off, it's because I was consuming all of this knowledge. I was watching all of these videos. I was reading all of these books, but I never got to the point to actually start doing the steps to get there. And I was like, why is this not working? I have all of this knowledge in my head. Like, what's happening? And it was just not doing the actions, basically. It was just consuming all the knowledge. And a good point I also want to bring here is sometimes you need to limit the knowledge you are consuming. You need to make a plan for yourself. Like, again, where would you like to be in life? How would you want to look, speak, what people you would want to have around, and like kind of a roadmap of how would you like your life to look like, and then finding the knowledge to learn to get you there. Because I think a lot of us, including myself, I was consuming like a lot of knowledge from like different topics, and it was like getting to the point that I was so overwhelmed. I'm like, what do I do with all of this? Like, where do I start?
Frustrating. That feeling is so frustrating.
Yes. And for me, again, I don't like putting any labels on myself, but I am a very minimalistic person. I feel like I have a little bit of ADHD.
Yeah.
I like things organized in my mind.
Let me adjust
in my
the
house.
cup for you, just so it's.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I don't want you to feel uncomfortable. Just adjust it, making sure everything, the brands are facing her. Hold on.
Everything is, the lines should be perfectly like
the lines,
straight.
Okay. Damn. So you want to redo this? Just come back tomorrow, and I'll just take it down and
Thank you for taking care of that.
For you, only for you.
Only for you. But I think I think for me it was always like I need to have as minimal things in life as I can, just so I'm able to organize everything on the shelves the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to work on it. But then I got to the point that maybe this is how I am supposed to be. You know, maybe this is who I am and there is nothing bad in it. Like, sometimes I don't like when people are being noisy around me, because I need time to like just be with myself and like focus.
Interesting.
And there's a lot of things, but I don't know. I think I went off the topic again. I'm sorry.
No, you did not. Again, I heavily identify with that. If you saw my apartment, my team, I have a media agency, and I have like 6, 8 people, and they know how crazy organized OCD I am with everything that we do and the way we organize things. And they said my apartment is like the Google Drive. It looks like just everything's like in its right folder. And my friends laugh at me when they kind of move something and I kind of readjust it. They laugh at me. I know it's funny, but like I got like, for me to just feel like just chill.
And do you get frustrated? Do you?
Yeah, I mean, like, I wouldn't say I'd throw a fit over it, but like, you know, like whenever I get the chance, I'll just, if it is adjust it, or, you know, if there's crumbs on the ground, I clean it up. And I can't sleep if everything isn't clean and put in its place, because I'm gonna wake up to a mess. And starting my day off like that, fuck that. Like I've done that. I grew up in that household. Everything was all over the place. God bless my mom. She tried her best. She did her best. But I hated that. Things being disorganized.
Honestly, same. I think my mom, well, not that I think, my mom is honestly, like, if you go to my house, like everything is organized like it's a hotel. Seriously, like the way she folds everything, like she will take out the clothes from a closet and wash them again after a while, even if you didn't wear them. Like she will do that just because she wants to refresh things, you know?
Yeah, no.
And I grew up like that, and I feel like that's where it's coming from, which again, it's not a bad thing.
It's a blessing in disguise. It's a pain in the ass sometimes to deal with, but it's at the end of the, come on, like clean, organized, imagine the opposite.
I agree. I totally agree, but sometimes if the things don't go the way they're supposed to, you just get frustrated. Yeah. So
how do you handle that frustration? Do you do something to kind of get over that?
Oh, I think I got really good at it. I'm trying to calm myself, a lot of breathing exercises.
a crumb drops on the ground.
You can't control this.
Just let the crumb be.
Let it be. Yeah, I think I got pretty good at it, not to get frustrated as much as I used to. But still, I'm a perfectionist, so I like things how I like them.
Yeah, that's respectable. It's completely respectable. And you know what? You were touching earlier on how you had you basically would consume a lot of content and information, whether it was books, videos, articles. I'm sure it was everything above. You know, at some point you're like, when are things going to actually start looking different? And it's interesting. I do think that's also a blessing in disguise. If you're someone who is an introvert, it's hard to take action on things. It's hard to get out there and be seen. It's probably one of the most uncomfortable feelings if you're naturally an introvert. And so the reason I say it's a blessing is because you'll go through, hopefully not too long, but you'll go through a long time of just information and learning from others. You probably ask a lot more questions than you do talk. And you are probably surrounded by older people who have some experience and life experience. And I think, you know, when you get to that point when you're ready to take that first step and be seen and feel uncomfortable, it's not going to land the first time, but after a while, you're going to get comfortable, and holy shit, all the knowledge and time that you spent into learning everything you did, you're going to be someone who's a beaming light that people are going to be drawn towards.
100%. I totally agree. What I also think it's important, it's taking small steps. Again, we all are waiting for the perfect moment, probably to get out there. I think it's important to maybe start it with someone who you're close to, just practicing it, like small little steps, just so you know you can do it, and then like get yourself out there.
Yeah.
And also, again, going back to the same thing that I mentioned, the alter ego effect, it's basically embodying that person, like not trying to, oh, I'm gonna do all of these actions to be that person, but being that person first, feeling the way that person feels, embodying 100% every single fiber of that person, and then your brain naturally is gonna try to find the ways to bring you there.
So I'm curious, how, if you're, okay, is the alter ego different from you being yourself in a way?
A lot of people are saying that alter ego is someone fake, is you, but like the fake version of you, which I don't exactly agree. I think maybe the fake version of you, it's you right now, who is not living to the fullest.
Fuck.
Might hurt, but it's honestly, if you're not okay with some things in life, is that truly you? Or is it you who was built by someone else? Are you...
You're really making me think right now.
I mean, it's something to think about. It's something to think about, because a lot of people are saying that, again, the alter ego might be someone you are faking, which I look at it in a different way. It's the person you want to be, the person you are meant to be, and you're just living in someone else's body right now. Or
The alter ego
identity
is someone who you're meant to be, and right now you're in the person who isn't that.
Who isn't that yet. Because when you build an alter ego, is basically a better version of yourself. I think someone who you aspire to be, like the qualities, the way that person looks, the way that person acts.
Okay.
I think it's a better version of yourself, someone you look up to. So maybe
Okay.
that's the person you are meant to be in this world. And who you are right now, it's not, I don't want to be harsh, as I previously said, it's a fake you. It's just someone who was built by the society, by the things around you, by the things you were told, who you were as a child. It's all of that, like all of those things accumulated and formed your identity, who you are right now. Again, if you are feeling content, if you are feeling happy with who you are, that's probably who you're meant to be at the moment. And a lot of people maybe are. I'm talking about myself. I think there is so much more potential for myself and for the person who I want to be. So I know exactly that the person who I am right now, it's not exactly who I am meant to be.
And are you okay with who you are right now? Are you content with who you are right now?
I am. I definitely am. But I think there is room for so much more.
Fair. Interesting. I always hear that if you just start simply acting like the person that you want to be and just fully get into it from the second you wake up to how you get dressed to how you take a shower, anything that you do in your life, if you just behave like the person that you envision,
Embody.
then over a period of time, actually even in that moment continuing, you're just that person. So that's what I'm thinking about when you say alter ego.
Yes, that's exactly what it... Well, alter ego, it's more like building like this fictional character till it becomes real. Well, I would say it's pretty much the same thing. It's just the way you look at it, I would say. But yeah, it's a very good point you just said, like embodying, feeling with your like whole being, feeling that person, the way they act, the way they speak, like the moment you wake up, just acting the way they act. Like,
So, what does Christina's alter ego look like? Yeah.
okay. I would say very well spoken, very kind, great posture.
Shit. Yeah, no, you do have great posture. I'm like slouched over
Not
here.
right now.
just like-
I'm very comfortable right now.
I just realized how straight you were
Hey,
sitting
not-
after saying that. It's a good reminder.
It's a good reminder.
Right.
And probably just being content with all the things she does in life, not wasting any moment, like living her full potential, and not looking at the bigger picture, but at the same time not waiting for something bigger in life to make her happy, but living to the fullest right here, right now, because you never know what's gonna happen the next moment, and what's making the big picture, it's actually these small moments. So living to the fullest every single second. Like, I am right here with you right now. I'm gonna give you 120% of myself. I'm not gonna think about what I'm gonna have for dinner, or who I'm gonna meet afterwards, or how I'm gonna walk home. I am right here right now, and I'm gonna squeeze every single drop from me just to
Wow,
be here.
I feel honored. Oh my gosh. Whoa, this is an amazing guest. You guys, check her out. A link's in the description. Go follow her. She's pretty cool. I
you.
love that though. That's really like where I find happiness and like contentment, I guess I'd say, is living in the moment. So when you find yourself drifting like outside of that, what do you walk yourself through anything in your head to kind of get back on track? Or what do you do?
You know what was really helpful for me? It was when I was at my highest moment in life, when I was feeling super happy, super content. I said to myself, that's the perfect moment to sit down and actually write down like all the things you need to do when you don't feel at your best. So
Smart thing to do.
again, whenever you're not because let's be honest, especially women, so we going through so many changes during one single month, like on the hormonal level and all of that. And I think listening to your feelings all the time, it's not the smartest thing to do. It's basically knowing what's right for you. So when you feel at your highest, when you feel the happiest, just write down those things. Like, what do you know that it's good for you? You know that working out, it's good for you. You know that going for a walk, it's good for you. You know that like being kind to calling your mom, it's a good thing. So write all of those things down. And whenever you don't feel at your best, push yourself to do those things. And automatically you're going to start feeling better. Trust me.
That's so fucking smart. And it's so interesting.
It works.
I just did that like October. I was in Florida at the Care and Treatment Centers. It's one of the most respected treatment centers in the nation for addiction. And we've been working with them for a while, and we've had lots of guests on the podcast. I finally went in, and we did this activity where we were doing like arts and crafts, making a little box. Actually, I think the box is in that drawer over there. I'll bring it out in a second. And
We want to see it.
yeah, and I wrote myself a letter. Like I wrote myself, I felt very good in that moment. And I wrote down as if I'm speaking to myself on any other day where I don't feel as good, and just kind of walking myself through what to pay attention to. I want to take it out right now, but like, so you wrote something down.
I did.
What do you know? What you wrote down?
I do know.
What did you write down?
It started from small little things like physical activity, doing all sort of stuff, down to the mental stuff, like speaking to yourself in the mirror and realizing that you might feel some sort of way right now, but you know who you are as a person, you know that you are this kind of person, and just give yourself a hug. And I know it might not be the perfect moment right now, but you will pass. Like, time heals everything. And just, again, do all of those things, and automatically you're gonna start feeling better. It's, I think for everyone, it's going to be different, like for every single person, which, again, it's something normal. We all have different things that makes us happy, that makes us content. So I think just make a letter that it's personalized to you, what you know it's gonna make you feel good, what you know it's good for you and it's right for you. Because again, we have so much noise around, we have so much information around, and if you listen to everything, at one point you're just gonna go crazy, like,
or in other words, cuckoo bananas.
yes
You're gonna go cuckoo bananas. So stop listening to that voice in your head. It's driving you cuckoo bananas. Take a moment.
Oh my gosh,
and write
that's
down
funny.
and step outside of that. And when you feel good, write it down.
Can I just say how perfectly folded is this thing?
Right? It's not perfect. That was a little bit rushed, but it's nicely folded. So this is the box
Where's that box coming from?
This is I made this box. I put some like little cute arts and crafts stuff on the side.
I love that.
There's like
how long ago was that?
October, November, December. I guess
I
like,
love
oh my God.
this.
Wait, 5 months ago? Wow, it's crazy.
Do you do a lot of things like manual?
So with my ex, so I've only had 2 like somewhat long-term relationships. I'm romantic. Like, I would make boxes. I would like decorate the box. I would write cards. I would draw. Just took a lot of time to do really cute stuff. Dates, same. Like, I'm pretty creative. I'm a fun person to date, I like to think. But yeah, so I've always kind of been into this stuff. So this is in here, and the front of the card. So I have it in my wallet, and I'm getting another freaking cramp. Jesus Christ.
I think Sergio is gonna stand for the rest of the podcast.
Yeah, I'm gonna stand. I'm sorry, guys. But this card, I keep it in my wallet so that whenever I just get in that space where it just doesn't feel right.
I think you should show the front.
Oh yeah, why not, right?
This is beautiful.
Yeah, it's a cute little card.
Gorgeous.
So the outside of the card says you are exactly where you need to be.
I love that.
So no matter what you feel, what you're going through, you're exactly where you need to be. Then you take out the card, and it says, you are wonderful. Your enthusiasm for life's little joys is contagious. You remind us all to cherish the simple things. And then I wrote myself a message on the card, and I didn't think about it. I just felt very content in the moment, and I just wrote whatever my hand was doing. It wasn't coming from up here. It was coming from the energy on my body and my hand. It was kind of weird, kind of freaky. But I wrote, keep spreading joy and happiness. Remind yourself of the things you've accomplished today and this week. Think about the people who appreciate you for who you really are. Flip the switch and turn on happiness. Remember that joy and contentness is a choice to live in the moment and be grateful for everything you've experienced, have, and can give.
I love that's such a beautiful message.
Right?
It's such a beautiful message, and it has so much meaning.
It's such a great reminder.
How often do you get back to that and read it?
When I first wrote the card, that's a great question. Thank you for asking. I would look at it at least daily. And I've kind of come to a point recently, the past month or two, where I need it less. I don't remember the last time I looked at it, actually, because I can this is a habit that you build. Repetition, repeating something over the course of 2 weeks to a month, you're going to build a habit, and these words will stick with you. So I can walk through them in my own mind. I still kind of have days, but I can walk through it in my own mind. This second call, the second short message, I was on a business call, and I did. It went amazing. And Corey, who's kind of like a mentor to me, friend, said, I told him how well the call went. He said, write it down. I don't know what to write. What do I write down? What? Because he saw how excited I got about it and how good I felt. He said, get a piece of paper. He got this and a pen in Florida. He said, write it down. And like for like a minute straight, I was like, I don't know what to write. I don't know what to write. And then I just wrote what I did in the call, which is I didn't follow the script. I listened. I responded. I actually cared about helping them with their problem, their need, whatever it was. I had fun. I scheduled a follow-up call. And I had humility. I didn't know what humility was. Honestly, I thought humility was just fuck, how do you explain it? I thought humility was like being humble and not taking ownership of what you know you're good at. But I actually found that humility is being proud of what you know you're good at, owning it, and not being afraid to share that with people. Yeah. So I had humility on that call. And it was a great call.
I love that. And I love that Corey told you to write that down because the reason why that is so important is because we often forget where we started. We often forget that we are in the place where we dreamed to be not too long ago, maybe. And just because we always try to catch the next thing, we forget all the achievements we already did. And in the moments when you don't feel like it, when you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm not doing enough, I'm not the person I want to be, it's important to get back to those messages, read them, and just be like this is who I am.
Yeah.
Like, I gotta be proud of myself. Like, all the achievements I did, this was me. I think that's very important. I think that's why, as I previously mentioned, I'm still old school, because when I write it down, it just has a different meaning for me. I don't know. I still write down my schedule.
Do you journal?
I do.
Daily?
Not daily.
How
no.
often?
Pretty often. I have weeks when I do it daily, and I have maybe 1 week when I don't do it at all. Again, it's like trying to
depending
stick
on
to
like the time, whether
the time but I try to be as consistent as possible because I find it's very helpful for me. So I try to stick to it as much as I can.
In my past relationship, my last long-term relationship, I got close to her family, and something that they did that I've never done with my family.
But to your family or the person?
I got close with their family,
okay.
And we spent more time with them. But something that they did that I had never done with my own family was like sit at the dinner table and ask each other how your days were. It's the weirdest thing. I tried not to laugh when they did that because it was something I'd see on TV and movies, and like I'm just thinking, are you guys kidding? Like, is this an act or what's like, going on?
What should I say so make a good impression?
No, literally.
You're like, what Sergio should say right now?
Someone's asking me like, how was your day? It's like, it was good, and like they wanted to listen and they gave me that space. And it was really uncomfortable. Didn't feel right. I didn't feel like I deserved that space. So I kind of liked it over time, but over a long period of time. But they just did certain things that were different. Eating at the dinner table, just more communication, really good communication. Honestly, that was something that I struggled with in my past relationship, was communication. I'm better at it now. But just like... all these different things that
Can
I
healthy. Ask you a question?
Yeah.
Do you think that's because of the thing we talked about it? It's because this is something good, but it wasn't familiar to you, so that's why you felt uncomfortable and you felt the need to like move away from it?
That's exactly right. Yeah. It's just not feeling familiar.
But that's something nice to do, right?
It is.
I mean,
No, yeah, I know it is. No, it is nice. It's like,
I
of
think
course,
that's something
that's
you
connection.
aspire. Yeah, I think that's something you aspire. And actually, now that you mentioned that, that's actually a dream of mine, because I feel
What is?
like just sitting at the dinner table with your family and actually talking
I want
about
that.
things.
Yeah.
I want that so bad. Like, that's a dream of mine. That's a thing that I aspire, but I didn't have as a kid, and probably I won't have it anymore with my family. I mean, you
I
never
would push
know.
back on that. I think.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's gonna be maybe again like unfamiliar,
Yeah.
but like over a period of time, like
It's-
they're gonna just get like comfortable with it, used to it.
I think it's just something unfamiliar for them. So I tried, not my whole life, but I tried for a very long period of time to change my parents, and then I realized that they're already have their personality. Like, I can't just struggle my whole life to try to change someone. What I can change, what I can control, is building a life for myself and maybe for my future kids, and provide that for them. That's what's in my control. But trying to change someone else, I think, is just a waste of time, and it's a waste of energy when you can actually use that to for yourself and for your growth and for whoever you want to become in life. And I just had to like accept who my parents are. I love them so much, but I just had to accept and realize that, oh, we will probably never have that, and that's okay. That's totally fine.
Honestly, that's one of the most challenging things to navigate in my life personally. Is just the family side of things, because we can be selective with who we choose to spend time with as adults. We have work, we are paying rent, we're doing our own things, we get to make our own decisions. So it's still tough, but it's a little easier to choose the people you surround yourself with and who you spend time with.
Yeah.
But family is like you kind of grow up with them, and they're it's unconditional.
You were born like in this family, so you can't really choose it. So again, it's up to you to make the decision if you want to waste the energy and time to try to change someone who is already, again, a formed personality, identity, or just accept them, love them, but do your own thing, and again, control whatever it's in your power.
Yeah, I think that's the responsible thing to do. That's being an adult.
That's adulting.
That's adulting. Adult. Do it. Make sure you adult.
Make sure you grow up.
Yeah. But it's it can be a simple concept. Actually putting into action is difficult, because like life happens and just things come up, and especially with family, it's there's a lot of rooted kind of triggers that we have, and so putting all this work into developing that alter ego, or just who you want to be in this moment, it's it can be triggering, going back to a few old behaviors or environments. So how do you navigate going back to those old environments? Do you prepare yourself for it? How do you handle that part of your life?
I think I made the decision to not isolate, but kind of limit myself, limit my time with the people and the things that trigger me and bring me back to who I was as a person, like all the things that trigger me and kind of like make me fall back into the same patterns, old patterns. And I made the decision that till I'm not going to be strong enough, I'm not probably going back to the same things. I'm going to isolate myself. I'm going to do all the work I need to become as strong as possible. So whenever I am faced again with these kind of things, I know how to handle it better.
So taking the time to just get
build,
more tools, build those
to kind of know how to navigate when a certain situation like comes across.
Yeah, I'm still sensitive to a couple of things, like for example, when someone growing up, my name was always shouted, just like Sergio, like quick, abrupt. And so today when people call my name in that way, I get so triggered. But I mean, I don't show it. No one would tell. But like,
Yeah.
just right here, all this
Yeah.
fucking anxiety sits,
I
and I'm
feel
like,
you so much.
it's so triggering. That's one example.
I feel you so much on that, because there is so many things I still get triggered by, and I am like, where is this coming from? And then I'm like thinking about it, and I'm like, okay, in my childhood, this,
Yeah.
this, and that happened, so that's why I get triggered right now. So yeah, it will, again, it's always work in progress. You will never be able to 100% get rid of it, because again, as long as you experienced one thing in life, there is no way you can wipe your, well, the only thing you can do is wipe your memory, like to not get triggered anymore. But
I don't think you want to do that.
yeah, I don't think you want to do that. I don't think that's safe. So
Yeah.
So I think, again, you can learn how to manage it better. You can learn how to not get as triggered as you used to, but it's still gonna, like,
It's not a straight line.
yeah, it's there.
It's a little curvy.
It's there.
Yeah.
You just again, you get to the point where you make the decision if you want to let it trigger you or not.
Yeah.
Again, it's a lot of work.
Processing it is has been game changer for me. Just knowing how to process those feelings, not about like getting rid of the feelings, because even if we got rid of all the triggers, if someone was in your face and they said, like, you know, fuck you,
Yeah,
and they, you know, pushed you or
it's
something,
still not gonna be
yeah, you're not gonna enjoy that.
pleasant, you know.
It's not gonna be pleasant.
Yeah,
So, yeah, life is life, and I guess you kind of gotta just build. I like improving the processor, our processor. Kind
yeah,
of how I look at it.
yeah, yeah. But again, it's a lot of work, but you can learn how to get to the point where you realize that the only thing you can control is you, and whatever is going on around you is just, maybe that person is going through something. Like, why should you experience that sort of feeling? You know, it's a person, like, they made the choice to act that way. They made the choice to tell you those kind of things. The way you react to it, it's what actually matters. Again, it's a long process, it's a lot of work, but it's possible to get to that point, I think.
Absolutely, yeah. I love that. There's a lot of value in this podcast episode.
There is
It's a lot of, like, you're
there is
sharing a lot of gems and value. Thank you so much. Is there anything that I have a question.
Yes.
What's something that most people? What's a question you wish people would ask you more often?
Me? Like, what they'll ask me? That's a very good question. I feel like I need time to reflect on that.
Take your time.
5 years later.
I'll add it.
I think what we are missing in today's society, and what I would like people to ask me more often, is probably some specific questions, like, what am I passionate about? Like, small things, but not just how was your day or what did you do today, and then but they don't care about what you're gonna answer back. It's, again, finding those people who are actually curious to get to know what's inside you, like what makes you happy, like what triggers you, what's your story, like those kind of questions. And I think, like, people don't ask that so often nowadays.
Why don't you think people ask that very often?
I
In general.
I think everyone is so busy with everyday life, but we kind of forget that there is more meaning to life, and we are just consumed by whatever is going on around, and we are, again, so busy just to kind of like survive in this society, but we forget that we are all human beings. We have feelings, and there is more to it, not just the surface level. But again, I do believe there is this kind of people maybe we didn't find yet, maybe we didn't connect it with yet, But there is that if we exist, that means someone else exists.
That's exactly what I was thinking about right now.
I'm pretty sure we just need to find them.
Yeah. I love that. It's not a lot of them, but there are a lot of them. Like, if you kind of get out there and you start to meet more people, you'll come across them more often.
100%. Yeah.
It's hard to meet people like that when you don't put yourself out there, though.
Yeah. And I think don't lose hope. Definitely don't lose hope, because there is good people, and not that there is bad people. I'm not trying to say that. I'm just trying to say that some people are just more connected with themselves, and if that matters to you, it's probably good to open yourself and try to find those people. Like, don't lose hope if you weren't able to, like, if 10 tries failed, if you were trying to meet someone with who you can build a meaningful connection and it failed, don't lose hope, because there is a lot of people with who you can connect and who are looking in the same direction and who has the same kind of like purpose in life. So again, don't let other situations to kind of kill that beautiful thing you have inside.
I love that. That's
Yes.
that's sweet. If there's is there anything that you feel like you're really passionate about that we didn't kind of touch on or cover that you'd like to share with the audience?
We covered a lot of things, but I do want to say something. I do want to encourage people to be more curious, to discover themselves, because there is gold there. Trust me on that. There is gold inside you. You just gotta dig very deep. Again, ask yourself questions. Try to learn about yourself. And truly, truly connect with that inner person you are, like that inner self. Because again, there is a beautiful thing inside you. You just gotta kind of like take the dust away, you know?
Just
you know?
blow
Yeah,
it, or just like
yeah.
did you blow or did you swipe off the dust? How did you take off the dust?
Oh my gosh. I think it was a very thick layer, which needed
layer
a
of
lot
dust.
of cleaning, you know?
Do you need like a vacuum for it, or
Kind of, yeah, very good, like,
good vacuum?
yeah,
A strong one.
like a
Like
strong
what kind of
one.
like what
Like
brand?
a Dyson one,
A
I
Dyson
guess.
vacuum. Yeah. Okay.
Hmm.
That must have been a thick layer. Yeah.
It's not sponsored by any.
Not sponsored. That's so crazy. Like, would have never imagined Dyson. I was saying we're not sponsoring Dyson in an episode like this. That's so silly.
But yeah, I think just be curious. That's all I gotta say. Be
All right.
curious to discover who you are and get to know yourself, what you like to do, and what your passions are. Because again, we all were brought in this world to create. We're all artists, and just try to reach your full potential.
So, how do you enjoy yourself today? What do things look like today for you?
I think for me, it's again trying to kind of like bring all that I have in my mind in this 3D dimension. And it's what I am struggling with the most. It's the reality is struggling to catch up to what I have on my mind, because again, we're like, the human brain can process I don't know how many thoughts in one day, like probably thousands of thoughts.
At least, yeah.
Yeah. And I think I have so much on my mind, but sometimes I struggle because I'm just one person, and like in the actual world, like physically, it's just this certain amount of things you can get done. So I feel like it doesn't match. Like that's where I'm struggling the most. And you'll probably never be able to match that, because again, it's like two different worlds. The best you can do is, again, reach the highest level you can to like kind of like bring those thoughts, those ideas to life. make it like make something you can touch and feel in this world.
I like that. What do you do for fun?
What do I do for fun? I do a lot of things for fun. I like writing. I like music.
What kind of music?
I am honestly into all sorts of music. It depends on my mood. I love techno. I love I love hip hop. Like all of it. It's just like it depends on
You
my
look like
mood.
you can bust a move.
Right? I was ready. I came ready. But yeah, what do you do for fun? What makes you happy?
Hold on, wait.
Hold on.
So you said
He's like, I'm the host here.
right? Yeah, right. Putting my foot down, my host foot. Yeah. So you like writing, music?
I love traveling a lot. I love exploring new places. And honestly, I'm more gravitated towards like quiet places that are not as often advertised on the internet. I love finding those hidden gems where like not so many people go and just like explore that.
Oftentimes I hear in the podcast that the other podcast, Crosstalk podcast that we produce, that the drugs and the alcohol, it's not about that. It's about doing the inner work. And some people have problems with drugs and alcohol, some people don't, and there's some science behind it, whether you have the gene or not of the addictive behavior, but really putting down that stuff, alcohol, drugs, whatever it is that you're having a problem with and that's diminishing the quality of your life, is just opening the door to the work. It's because there's usually a lot of underlying trauma, and I often hear people say that the opposite of addiction is connection, and it sounds like that's exactly what you want to do with your content and reaching a lot of people. I imagine that it's going to do just as much, if not more, for you as it is going to be. It's going to be helping you as much as it's going to be helping them.
100%. I think I mentioned in one of my videos that I want to help others in the process of helping myself. And I think that's beautiful. I think it's beautiful to document all the steps and kind of look back at it after a while and be like, I was so vulnerable. I was so like fresh into all of this. And I think it's going to be so beautiful to look back at it from where you started. So I think having that on video, having that taped, it's something beautiful.
It's like a virtual diary, journal.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Well, I'm excited for that. And in any way that I can support you on that, whether it's feedback or anything else, I'd love to be a part of that.
Thank you.
That's so sweet.
I truly appreciate that.
That's so exciting. Well, any final kind of thoughts or words or anything on your mind?
Oh my gosh.
I feel like we can like spend probably the whole day. I mean, we'll get tired of each other by the end of the day if we spent the whole day. But I have a feeling we could go the whole day if we had to.
I think so too, honestly. I feel like you mentioned, we completely forgot. But there is a camera in front of us, which it's a good sign. Again, it's not that we're avoiding you in some sort of way.
We're here for you guys, yeah.
It's a very, very like... it's flowing.
Yeah, it's flowing.
It's flowing. I love that. Yeah. Any
thoughts? Any kind of like, just spit it out. Just like, what's in anything that you just
throw it out there.
Throw anything.
Let me think. What would I want to say? I think I just want to mention that, again, I am very, very excited for what's there for me. I am very excited to learn more. I am very excited to take other people along the way with me. I am very excited to build meaningful connections with other people. And I think some people might not know yet that they need the help. And again, like sharing this information, putting this information out there, I'm hoping it's going to reach the right minds. I'm hoping it's going to reach the people who needed it. And yeah, I'm just excited for it.
All right. Well, on that note, you guys, thank you so much for watching, and subscribe if you like the content. Like the video if you got any value out of it, and leave a comment below on what one of your biggest leave a comment down below, introvert, if you feel like you're someone who struggles with connecting with others. Comment down below anything, if you feel like you're someone who struggles to connect with others, and we'll respond. And definitely go check out Cristina and her channel, support her on her journey, and connect. And thank you guys for watching.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure for me as well.
All right.